What's going on YouTube? Cloverbells here, back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be talking about 6 Pokemon that are underrated but you should be using moving forward in Series 1 VGC meta. Now, just as a disclaimer, I know you see my GIFs down on the screen with T-Tar, Garchomp, and so on, but those are not the 6. I just have them up there because I haven't been able to change them yet, just because I'm a little bit lazy, but I like how they look. And it's my favorite 6 so far. But again, we're going to be talking about 6 Mons that are starting to rise in usage, but not high enough. And I think they're going to rise even more moving forward. And just because they're a little bit low right now doesn't mean that they're not good. Of course, I just think they have a lot of utility, a lot of flexibility, a lot of good options for a lot of meta threats, and they all have tournament results, right? Which is always good, right? Because you got to back up your claim with some data. Right, we always like data. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and start with the first underrated Pokemon right now. Okay, so the first one that I want to talk about is Corviknight. Now, if you've been watching some of my other videos, you know I'm really high on this Pokemon just because of what it brings to the table, not only with its ability, but the speed control of Tailwind that it has in its move pool arsenal. So with Corviknight, with Mirror Armor, in case you don't know what it does, if a Pokemon stat stage would be lowered, instead it is the attacker's stat stage that would be lowered instead. So this is one reason why Intimidate is not so prevalent right now, right? There's other reasons, right? Because of Annihilate, Defiant, the Amulet coin. But Corviknight is also another reason for that, right? And it's a good steel type. Flying Steel is always really, really nice. Great typing because you can compensate the steel weakness to ground with your flying typing, so it actually doesn't even hit it. It's got great bulk with 98 HP, 105 defense, and an 85 special defense, so it's pretty bulky. The attack is not so great, but again, you have ways to boost that. But there's a few kinds of sets that you can run with Corviknight. You could go Tailwind, then you have Brave Bird over here. Okay, then you can even run Bulk Up, so this way you can boost up your attack and your defense. And then in the last slot is really up to you. You could do something like Roost, where you can gain passive recovery over time. You could even do Taunt. So this way you can deny certain setup, like maybe an opposing, Dragon Dance, Tailwind, whatever. But Taunt is also another option. You could even go for just simply Protect in this last one. But I feel like, with Corviknight, something like this, if you're going to run Protect, then you have to run like Leftovers if you're going to do a set like this. But if you don't want Protect, then you have other moves. You can even run like a Body Press, right? Just so that you have... just like with a boost of Bulk Up, you're still getting +1 defenses, right? And so now your Brave Birds can still hit hard, and now also your Body Press can still hit hard as well, right? So there's that option. Or if you don't even like this set, you also have the Iron Defense Body Press set, okay? And then you just have Protect or Roost in the last slot over here if you want to go like Leftovers Corviknight. But this is the idea where you just like having this endgame option of clicking Iron Defense, then clicking Body Press into so many different things that just don't want to be taking Body Press, like Hydreigon, for example, right? The Dark typing makes it so that you can just remove it. The flying option for Corviknight with Brave Bird allows you to remove Meowscarada. And then if you have the safety goggles, you can even start removing Amoonguses. So really, really nice there. Or you can just go for something like this where you have Tailwind, still Brave Bird, but now you also run Iron Head, and now you have a Steel move, which is also really nice, good against the fairies, like something like a Grimmsnarl or a Sylveon. But yeah, here's the idea. And then over here you can just run Bulk Up yourself, again going for that passive recovery with the Leftovers, if this is what you so choose. But I do like other options besides Leftovers. I do like Rocky Helmet, just in case you run into stuff like Mousehole and they just want to click Population Bomb. Now you can start chipping them away with Rocky Helmet. So this has also risen in tech usage. You can, like we said, the safety goggles. You can even go for like passive recovery berries. But either way, it's still okay. But yeah, Corviknight, very, very flexible. In terms of like speed, you just really need to outspeed stuff like maybe Talonflame or Kilowattrel, like with a speed boost besides your Tailwind, because they also have Tailwind. But Corviknight can be relatively bulky, and I like it a lot just because of Mirror Armor and how good it is against Intimidate. And if you look at some tournament results here, we actually have the data to back up the usage of Corviknight. So this was the New England tournament. Their grassroots tournament had 41 players, not too much, but still pretty sizable for a local, right? And then X2 Cut. This was back in December 10th. And if you look over here in Audie's team, he has a Corviknight, right? And he has a Dragon Fairy Steel Core going on here. He's got Garchomp / Hydreigon with Corviknight and Azumarill, right? It's a really, really cool concept, of course. Then he also has the Fire Water Grass Core. So it's very flexible, but Corviknight does really well on a team like this. So I'm glad to see its placement over here. And, you know, there is no other placement for Corviknight, but this is why it's like underrated. Like, you see it nowhere else, but it's in the #1 spot. Right? So shout outs to Audie there. Great job. And then if I go into the wide league, this one is a much larger tournament, 241 players. And you also see a Corviknight on here from Keros, right? He's got a Tatsugiri with Dondozo, right? We already know that duo. Then Corviknight can also provide Tailwind, which is really good for Dondozo and the rest of his team in general. Like Goldango and Dragonite desperately need Tailwind as well. So if they can get Tailwind support, that's also really nice. And you can deter those Intimidates just in case the Dragonite isn't inner focus, but I would assume it is. And the, you know, of course, for the Danto and stuff, right? Then if I look further, again, no other placement for the Corviknight within the top 8. So, you know, it should be used more, right? It definitely should be used more, just because of the sets it can provide. All right, then if we look at the local from Oakville, you know, just about 10 players over here, but again, within the top 4, you see Fiona's team with the Corviknight as well, and it's got Sylveon along with another dragon, right? So another Dragon Fairy Steel Core with a Fire Water Grass combination of Volcarona, Gyarados, and Meowscarada. So again, much like Audie's team, you have the 2 cores there, very, very flexible in terms of what it does. Then you have the Philippine League, right? Another tournament, 35 players in this one, and here's another Corviknight. I think I just saw him here. Wait, actually no, never mind. There was no Corviknight here, but this leads us into our next Pokemon, which is Volcarona, right? So now Volcarona is another good underrated Pokemon that is starting to also see some rise in usage, just because of the fire type. You can put pressure on Goldango, right? So Goldango is threat obviously because of like Make It Rain and Shadow Ball, you know, just the amount of offensive pressure that it puts on. But Volcarona can kind of wall that, and you have a nice arsenal of movesets here, right? You always have Tailwind. Well, I shouldn't say always, but you have the option for Tailwind, right? So you can get speed controlled that way, just like Corviknight. Then you even have Rage Powder, right? So Rage Powder gives you redirection, just like Amogus, just like Maushold, just like Infinity. You have that option there, and then you can start going for hard-hitting Heat Waves, and Volcarona's special attack stat is very, very high. So, you know, you can do a lot of damage there. And then from here, you know, you have options for stuff like Struggle Bug, where you can drop special attack, or you can go for something like String Shot, which, you know, you can drop speed by 2, which is also pretty cool. Then you also have Quiver Dance sets, where you can just start boosting yourself. You know, you can get special attack, speed, and speed. So you have setup play there. You even have access to Will-O-Wisp, so you can neuter physical attackers. So that's always kind of cool. And then just like, it's just a very, very good support one. Like, it can do a lot. You can pressure the Goldangles, like I said, the King Gambits, the other Corviknights if you run into them, but even the dragons that are going for Terra Steel, you can always pressure them as well. Bug Buzz is also something that's really nice, where you can just neuter special defenses, but this is only like 10% chance, but this is like an offensive set with like Quiver Dance, right? So I wouldn't run Bug Buzz without Quiver Dance, but you know, you always have that option in terms of what you want to do and what you need for your team, right? If I were to just go down the list here, I even have access to Fiery Dance. So if I can raise my special attack by 1, that's also really nice. And I don't have to worry about Heat Wave missing, so that's also cool. Just even going down the list here, I even have Hurricane if I want to put on a Rain Team, but I don't know how many people are going to do that. We talked about Will-O-Wisp, and I believe that's pretty much it for Volcarona, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, but you got the option, right? You have speed control, you have redirection, you have damage mitigation with Will-O-Wisp, and then you have options for something like String Shot, but I would just go stab stuff with like Heat Wave. And then over here, you know, you can just go like a passive berry recovery with Citrus Berry, so that's also kind of fine. But yeah, you have this option. And if I were to just keep going into over here with our results, oops, I meant VR over here. So if I look at Victory Road, again, you know, you do see the Corviknight, like I said, from Oppo's team. You know, I should have went to this page first before I went into Volcarona, but that's okay. But this also features both of them, so you can see Volcarona and Corviknight on the same team. So I really like his squad. Again, you see that Fire, Water, Grass combination with that Dragon, Fairy, Steel force, so it's really, really nice. And again, you know, you might, without the Volcarona, you have to say, how do you beat the Goldango besides Garchomp, right? Because the Goldango teams are not going to let Garchomp 1v1 them, right? So you need something else, and the Volcarona is a very, very nice option here, right? If I were to go down VR's list, just to make note of other Volcaronas and even other Corviknights, where are you? Where? Okay, here's another Corviknight. This time with, oh, this is the 6 that we have on our screen. This is with Garchomp, T-Tar, and then the Fire, Water, Grass homies with Amoonguss, Gastrodon, and Runempede. So nice to see that the top placement there, of course. And I believe that's all we got here in terms of like Corviknight or Volcarona. That's okay. If I were to look at some other tours here, all right, over here you can also see right here in a third seed. This is a Japanese tournament. Volcarona placed third here, and it's placed with Maushold, Murkrow, Annihilate. Okay, so that's a core, right? Maushold, Annihilate. So try like some bulk up stuff with Rage Fist, and then Sableye and Vaporeon. Vaporeon has seen a couple of tournament plays. You know, you wouldn't really expect it, but it is here. So you know, Volcarona being used there, also really nice. If I go into Pado's team, Pado's tournament. This was in Rome, so an Italian tournament. You could also see some Volcarona action here from, again, Danny's team over here with Hydreigon, Sylveon, Gengar, Grimmsnarl, and Annihilate, right? So another Dragon, Fairy, Steel core that could use Volcarona's presence here, and it might even have Tailwind, or maybe even the Hydreigon can have Tailwind. I don't know. One of the two could have Tailwind, but it does really, really well here. Okay, if I were to look on others, okay, no other Volcarona. See, this is what I mean, right? It has a top cut placement, but you know, you just don't find it all so common yet. All right, but that's okay. If I were to go over here in the Philippine tournament, so another place where you can see Volcarona over here. So this is the 8th seed, but pretty nice showcase over here with the Palafin. Actually, it's very, very interesting there. But another placement in a tournament for Volcarona, so doing really well. If I were to go into Toronto's local, again, Fiona had that along with the Corviknight, so we know what that did. If I were going to the Wide League over here, did they have a Volcarona? Nope, they did not. What about in this one? In the UK was, yep, there's one right here. There's actually 2 of them. So Mike had it also with Dandozo Tatsugiri along with Goldango stuff, and then over here with Jeremy Ortiz, same idea, Goldango stuff with you know, Hydreigon and Murkrow. We know that core very, very well. And then you have redirection support with Amoonguss, but the fire typing is actually very, very nice over here. So, you know, really, really nice option. Good to see Corviknight and Volcarona do really well in some tournaments. But if I go into the Nino Pokebros tour, which I will bring up in a second, I believe it is here. Yeah, right here. So if I were to move back over here for a second, so in the Nino tour, again, you see Corviknight over here from Danielle. Then down here, if I look down a little bit more, from Mr. Rishi and Yoshi and Lugia, of course, that's Fiona. But again, just to look at some of the Corviknight sets that they have, just look at this one from Danny. Safety goggles, okay, Brave Bird, Ironhead, Tailwind, Taunt. See, that's a very standard set. So, of course, give speed control for your team. You know, Taunt to deny Trick Room, and then, you know, Brave Bird to remove like grass types and stuff like that, right? So good option there from the Corviknight. Then if I go down here, okay, Mr. Rishi's team. All right, another. So this one actually doesn't even have Tailwind. It's Brave Bird, Body Press, Bulk Up. So Bulk Up will benefit the Body Press, and it'll also boost up the Brave Bird, and it's just Roost. So no Tailwind here. So playing the slow game either way. Then if I look at Yoshi Lugia's team, right? So Fiona's team, another Ironhead, Brave Bird, Tailwind, Taunt, Rocky Helmet. There's that tech choice. I love that tech choice. Really, really nice there. And then if I were to look at the Volcarona set, let me just go back here. It's Heat Wave, Struggle Bug, Rage Powder, Willow. So there's the damage mitigation, there's the Fire Stab, and there's the Struggle Bug, right? So really, really cool to see Volcarona there. If I were to go down this list just a little bit more, just on this side over here, with the the Corviknight. Wait, where did it go? Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Another Rocky Helmet set with Brave Bird, Ironhead, Roost, Tailwind. So cool options there. And then, you know, just to find like one more Volcarona set over here. Actually, there's two more here. So we got Mike's team. Oh, so we actually just saw Mike's team. So let's see his set that he was running. So it's Covert Cloak with Quiver Dance, Heat Wave, Bug Buzz, Giga Drain. So that's really cool. You get recovery over time. So that's nice. And then if I were to scroll one above it, with Oxo Waves squad over here with another Corviknight, by the way. So I really like this Corviknight Garchomp Volcarona core. But it's Goggles, Fiery Dance, Giga Drain, Quiver Dance, Protect. So, and of course the Goggles, right? So you want to like ignore the Amoonguss and just like burn stuff, right? So it's really, really cool to see both of these mons being used at least a little bit. And again, they have the tournament results. You know, you just want like to see them do a little bit more. Now, granted the other two did not quote unquote top cut with the Nino Tour, but that's okay. They still, you know, still a pretty solid performance either way, because it's good to see it used. But moving forward, we like to see more of it, right? I believe in the top 30 in the Nino Tour, how many Volcarona were there? I think it was literally just one with Nino. Literally just one. Yeah, it was just one. So hopefully we can see more. I mean, you did see more in the Victory Road Tour, right? Those are number 1 and number 2 for me, Corviknight and Volcarona. So let's move down our list. Okay, the third Pokemon that I think is underrated that should be used more is Gengar. So Gengar has seen some play in Scarlet and Violet, you know, to believe it or not, and it makes a lot of sense, right? It has an interesting role for certain teams, and it has a pretty cool move kit, right? So of course you have Curse Body, of course, with the Disable's chance. 110 speed, very, very fast Pokemon. 130 special attack, hits very hard. Goes poison, so a little bit weak to ground stuff. But there's ways to alleviate that. But what can you do here? So it's a very standard moveset with Shadow Ball and Sludge Bomb, you know, your 2 stab moves. Then the options start to vary, right? You also have options for Icy Wind, Speed Control, and then you even have access to Trick Room, right? So I think that's the main also use of Gengar, right? To get Speed Control on your side, especially if you're like playing the mirror with Tailwind support. So like if they go for Tailwind, you go for Tailwind, you need something else to get it back for you. So if you go for Icy Wind or flip them upside their head with Trick Room, that's also really nice. So that's Gengar's role there. Or you could do, where was it? Clear Smog is also interesting utility to remove buffs. I've seen that a couple times. And if I were to just go down this list here, it also gets access to Haze. So if you want to like Haze and remove buffs just in case you don't have a Merc on your team, that's also really, really nice. And as far as other moves it gets, let's see here. It does get Thunder Wave. I don't know how often you're going to be clicking that. It does get access to Will-O-Wisp. So another, you know, Will-O-Wisp user for damage mitigation. Really, really nice. If I were to keep going. It also has Acid Spray support. Stab Acid Spray to drop special defenses. So this way, if you have like maybe a Volcarona on your side of the team, or maybe a Sylveon, or Goldango, you can drop, you know, special defenses by 2. Although you're already a Ghost type as well as Goldango, so maybe not. You won't see them on the same team. But you also have access to Hypnosis, so sleep, right? So just in case, you know, you need to sleep something, if it's like a bad matchup or just something that's going to give you trouble, Hypnosis is an option to click on Gengar. So a lot of cool support moves that you can get with this Pokemon. Really, really nice. I can see why some people like prefer to use it. It even gets like Scary Face over here. So nice utility set from Gengar. Usually you want to sash this thing, right, just so that, you know, it can stick around a little bit longer. But yeah, as far as like results go, if I go back to the Wide League over here, there is a top cut placement for Gengar, and it's with Scarlet skill over here. So, you know, it's on a Tailwind team, right, with Talonflame and then even Gallade over here. But Gengar can also give speed control with Icy Wind stuff. I don't know their sets, by the way, but just looking at the team, it just makes a lot of sense. So you can give speed control for your Gallade, or maybe even for Kingambit, set up Trick Room that way. But it's also really nice. And then down here for Ways 45, also you making use of the Gengar. So, and it's on a team with like Sylveon, Gashon, and Rotom, right? So, and then you have the 2 Godzillas with Tyranitar and Excalibur. I'm actually very shocked to see that. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool set. Well, not set, because I don't know it, but it's a cool Tekmon to have on this side. So good placement there. Then back to the Philippine tournament again. For Lucid, So not only will Murkrow give you Tailwind, but now you need to beat the mirror. So the Icy Wind support, I'm sure, is on there. Then you have Sludge Bomb for, you know, other fairies, because look how many dark types you have. You have Murkrow, Hydreigon. You know, you need a little bit more than this to stop the fairies. So Sludge Bomb on Gengar is actually really, really nice. Good option there. And then over here, if I look at Pato's tournament, and there is another Gengar with Volcarona. So with Volcarona and of course Brimstar screen support. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like the Volcarona had Tailwind and the Gengar had Icy Wind. Again, I don't know their sets. I don't have any rental codes. I'm just like speculating here on what could be on their squad. But Gengar is really, really nice. If I go into Victory Road over here, there's 2 Gengars in the top cut. There's one here from Arash. Again, with a Talonflame user, along with Garchomp. So really cool there. You got to get the speed control back. And then if I were to go down, is there another? There's supposed to be one more. Oh, right here with another Sylveon user and Hydreigon, right? So, but there's no Tailwind on this one, so that's interesting. But there is a Trick Room option, you know, because Sylveon isn't that fast, and then you also have like Garganical over here. So, nice to see Gengar get some play in Scarlet and Violet, and I think more people will make use of it if they need answers to like fairy types, if they need a faster option against Goldango, if they need more speed control on their Tailwind team with Icy Wind, if they need Hypnosis for sleep stuff, you know, just in case if they want like the sleep powder plays, they're able to go for that with Gengar, right? And what's cool with putting Gengar on the same team as Garchomp, might I add, is because when Garchomp goes for Earthquake, the Gengar can go for Terra Flying. So this way you don't have to take a ground type attack, and your own Garchomp can Earthquake next to your own Gengar, which is actually really nice. So you could go for Icy Wind, get speed control, then go for that hard-hitting Earthquake, just in case something is faster than you, right? So there's the option there for Gengar. So really cool to see it. But yeah, those are 3 Pokemon so far. Let's move on to our number 4 option. Oh wait, I forgot a couple things with Gengar and the Nino Tour. So there's a couple spots here where you do see it. So again, Juan Garcia. So if I take a look at this, again, Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, and Encore with Focus Sash. So, and another one next to Garchomp, really, really cool. But no Terra type over here. So not electing to go for the Terra Flying, but that's okay. You see proof that Gengar has some use over there. And then over here, with K-Millie, what about this one? There's the Terra type Flying right next to Garchomp. So Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, Icy Wind, and there's the Haze tech. All right, that's one of the tech options there. So that's good to see. And then down here, also in the top cut placement, there's another one. Yep, right over here. Also next to Garchomp, is there Terra Flying? Nope, it's just Icy Wind, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb. Okay, so now we have Will-O-Wisp. So you see how flexible Gengar can be. You have the 2 stab moves, and then from there you have Icy Wind and then some other random move, right? So good to see the sets, right? So there's proof that Gengar can have a serviceable role on an important team. Let's keep going now. Okay, the 4th Pokemon that I want to talk about is a bit of a hot take. How about Mudsdale, man? Yeah, Mudsdale is an interesting choice that I think could be explored now, and I think I want to put Assault Vest on this thing, and I want to put Terra Grass on this, right? So let's talk about Mudsdale. All right, I do like this a lot. Now, if you look at what Mudsdale can do, it's got a couple good abilities. Inner Focus is one because you can't be flinched and you to Intimidate, but with the Clear Amulet, you know, running around, you don't need to go for the Inner Focus anymore. Maybe you can just go for Stamina if you put the Amulet over here. But if not, then you can still put the Assault Vest. It's still totally fine. But there's not as much, Intimidate running around. So having the Assault Vest on this kind of stats is actually really nice. So every time you get hit, you're going to get a defense boost. And then your attack is actually relatively high. So that's actually pretty good. 125 attack is kind of cool. Look at the bulk, 100 base HP, 100 defense, 85 special defense. So above average bulk, actually very good bulk. And then in terms of like movesets, and then you add the Assault Vest, right? So it's very bulky. And then if you just run something like High Horsepower, Rock Slide, Body Press, and then one other move, either Iron Head or Heavy Slam. I'll just put Iron Head just for the sake of it, but a Steel move. But in general, right? So you have 4 good coverage moves into a lot of the meta, right? You have the Iron Heads for the fairies like Brimstar stuff, Sylveon stuff. You have Body Press, the fighting coverage against like Mousehold, stuff like Hydreigon, Meowscarada. You know, that's why we're Terra Grass, so we can resist it. And we can just body press it right back. Other steel types that don't want to take a body press, we have that. You know, King Gambit doesn't want to take that. You know, Rock Slide's really good against the flying types, good against fire types as well, and then high horsepower, also good against steel types, also good against fire types, right? If I were to just, you know, go into Peakalytics over here, let's look at how our movesets can do against the rest of them. So Goldango, we have a ground move for that. Garchomp, a bit of a 50-50. Murko, we got Rock Slide over here. Annihilate's gonna have some issues. It's a physical attacker, we'll get defense boost. Armor Rouge, we have Rock, our ground move. Hydreigon, we have a fighting move. Grimmsnarl, we have a steel move. Arcanine, ground move. Meowscarada, body press. Indeedee, we can beat it. We have the Assault Vest, Mousehold. We have the fighting move. Rotom Wash. Okay, we still have Rock Slide. Okay, we still have body press stuff. And we have Terra Grass, by the way, so we can always outplay that. Garganacl, same idea. We have fighting and ground for it. Torkoal, ground rock. Sylveon, steel. You get the idea. King Gambit, you know, we're doing a lot into a lot of the meta over here. So I really would like to see Mudsdale explore more on a Trick Room team. Base 35 speed is actually really good because if this is 0 speed, now you're outspeeding the base 50s in Trick Room. So I would really like to see Mudsdale be used a little bit more. Someone's gonna explore it. If not, I'll do it. But a couple of people have tried it. If I look in Saturday's tournament from, you know, Pokebros, right over here, I think I saw it. Mr. Rishi's team, top 16 with the 12th placing with Mudsdale. Let's take a look at that set. And it is in fact Assault Vest with Stamina, Terra type fighting. Okay, great. High horsepower, heavy slam, Rock Slide, and body press. So that's a very standard set that you want on Mudsdale. And it makes a lot of sense with Corviknight and Sylveon over here. So that's cool. And I think there was another placement in Victory Road right over here. Yep, with Ethan's team. So with another Sylveon, and then it does have Tailwind. And then of course you have a Trick Room core with Indeedee Armor Rouge. Probably bring, you know, Mudsdale in the back, or maybe even Sylveon, just in case they don't want to go with the Tailwind one, right? So cool to see Mudsdale. I wish there was more. Was there any more? Let me just actually look at uses over here. Oh, it actually won't even tell me because the lowest is 3. But that's okay. All right, Mudsdale, we support. Hopefully you guys are going to be willing to try it out more because it's a cool Pokemon with a good ability, and then, you know, just great bulk overall and really nice and tricky. All right, so let's move forward. Okay, the next one I want to put on my list. Originally I had Sylveon over here, right? But then Sylveon kind of like rose up in usage anyway. So I don't know if this is like underused or underrated anymore. I think people understand that's going to do really well because you just pressure. First of all, this is not the one I have in under 5. But first of all, you just pressure like the Hydreigons, the Garchomps, the Murkos so much. And 3 out of your 4 is weak to Sylveon. That's not good, right? So I think Sylveon's going to keep rising in usage. And then the Hydreigon, Garchomp, Murko core is going to keep on decreasing just because Sylveon does really well. Now you might say, well, there's Goldango. Yeah, but then Sylveon could just become Terra Fire. And now you have Terra Blast or Quick Attack even to, like, you know, destroy the Goldango, right? So Sylveon was going to be on this list, but I decided to take a different route. And let's go with Azumarill. Honestly, I saw this from VR, and it makes a lot of sense now. But Azumarill is another one that I say is underrated and should be used more. If you just look at the sets that you have huge power, okay? Which will double your attack stat. Then you have a very popular set that people all know and love. You have first of all, you have Aqua Jet. So there's your priority. Then you have the Belly Drum set. And then you have maybe Protect over here. And then some other move like Play Rough. Okay, a fairy move. Really, really good. So Play Rough, really good against the dragons like Garchomp and Hydreigon anyway. Aqua Jet after Belly Drum, it's hitting for a huge chunk of damage. And then if you're like Terra Water, for instance, that's doing even more damage. You can chip all the fire types like Skeledirge, what's his face? Armor Rouge, Ceruledge. You can chip all of them and then Play Rough. You know, you're still clicking stuff on the dark types like Meowscarada, even though you're weak to it. You still have that option as well. Like if I were to just go down this meta list in terms of like the top 30 or so, let's see how well it is. So of course we have Goldango. That's about a 50-50. Garchomp we take, Murko we take, Mungus gets a little interesting. Annihilate we take. All right, Armor Rouge we take, Hydreigon we take, Grimmsnarl we take, Arcanine we take. You know, look at all this. All right, Indeedee, of course we're beating that. Meowscarada, like I said, we can take it. Mousehold, okay, Population Bomb is annoying, about a 50-50. Player Rotom Wash, we resist it, well, except for the electric move, never mind for you. So another thing that maybe is a little iffy. Garganical, we take. Torkoal, if there's no rain, if there's no sun, of course we can beat it, but even if there wasn't, +4 Aqua Jet in the sun's still gonna kind of hurt. You know, King Gambit, a little bit neutral over here to it. And then Dondozo, yes, if it goes Terra Dragon, we have something for it. Tyranitar, goodbye. All right. Tatsugiri, same thing, goodbye. All right, Colossal's an issue. Dragonite, Dragapult, goodbye. Okay, you get the idea. Saraluch, yeah, I'll stop from there. So, it's good. And if we look at VR, look how many teams have top. Look, 3rd place from Maddie's team. All right, along with Goldango and Mousehold. So a redirector with Azumarill, really, really nice. Probably to set up the belly drum stuff. Over here, Chongju's team with Amoonguss. I don't know if this was all like belly drum stuff. I actually don't. I'm just like speculating here that if you're with the redirection mon, you have the belly drum Aqua Jet set. And then over here, is there any more? Like down here, I know there was a whole bunch from the tour. Yeah, right here. With Indeedee, so there's that. Over here with another Indeedee, with Mousehold, with Amoonguss. Yeah, so you see a lot of placements with Azumarill, and it makes a lot of sense. And I think it's going to be used more just because of how well it does in the meta. And then you don't need your Tailwind support, right? You can just click Aqua Jet, doesn't care about Trick Room, doesn't care about Tailwind. You have, you know, the Aqua Jet to one-shot a lot of things. So I expect the Azumarill to continue to rise. Definitely give it a go if it can fit on your team for like a water option. So yeah, let's keep going with our last one on our list for now. All right, so our 6th mon for now, we're gonna look at Skeledirge. So this is another one that I believe is going to increase more, has been increasing more a little bit, but still not being used enough. And I think it needs to be used more just because of this ability, Unaware. This is what separates it from the other 2 starters, in my opinion. Yes, Meowscarada is really good. It's also being used just as much, maybe even more than Skeledirge. But Unaware right now, where you ignore other Pokemon stat changes when doing damage or taking damage, that's really good against Dondozo. And that's kind of what you want to do when you bring Skeledirge. And then this is where you go like either Terra Water or Terra Grass. I'll just put Grass for now. But a typical set here with Torch Song. Then you have Shadow Ball. Then you have Slack Off, where you can regain your health and then Protect. All right, and then over here, as far as an item, it could be anything. It could be another Recovery Berry, could be Leftovers, or it could be, you know, Throat Spray. If you run like a Snarl set or Torch Song, it could be that. But this is a standard set. Now, that being said, you have access to other moves as far as like what you want to use with Skeledirge. Just to go down this list, you do have Helping Hand, so that's a good support move. You also have access to, let me find it over here, Will-O-Wisp and Yawn, right? So Will-O-Wisp, Yawn, so you can go for sleep stuff, you can go for burn stuff, so there's that. So it's a nice, you can go for like a nice supportive set. And then Snarl with like Throat Spray for a little bit. You also have access to, well, yeah, here it is, Snarl. This is the other one I wanted, so another cool move. But again, you know, you have all these support moves, but you can also be like an offensive threat just because you can boost your own special attack with Torch Song, right? And you can pressure like the Meowscaradas, you can pressure their Goldangos if you can outspeed them. You know, just like in general, it's a really, really good mon also against Dondozo too, right? So there's some good uses here for Skeledirge, and it does have some play in tournaments, so let's just look at those real quick. Right here in the White League, in the #1 slot actually is by Kyogre SG. Skeledirge was on a team with Meowscarada, Grimmsnarl, and Annihilate, right? It makes a lot of sense. Okay, you want something besides Meowscarada to help you deal with the Dondozo. It makes a lot of sense. Takes away a little bit more pressure. And then over here in the New England tour, from Audi, also had a Skeledirge with Garchomp and Amoonguss Hydreigon over here, so also good. You can also see it down here. John Valentino, another one with a Garchomp core with a Sylveon and another Tailwind user, so good option there with the Skeledirge. Then over here in the Japanese tournament, you also saw it right over here in the #1 seeds. So notice how like these #1 seeds, they all have Skeledirge, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Because it just gives you it gives you like a heart check for that Dondozo, right? Because you don't care about its stat boost, you just be super bulky, and then you just damage it right back, and then just get recovery over time with Slack Off, right? Amoonguss with Clear Smog as well is also really nice. If I go into the VR tour, how many Skeledirges were in the top cut? They have some useful stats. 7 Skeledirges in the top cut. Well done, well done. And then, you know, we could go through all the teams here, but I'll just go through like a couple of them just to see where they are on these squads over here. It's a little bit hard to pick out, but I'm looking for them. Here's one right here from Kanan. Another one with Garchomp and Amoonguss, so really, really good. Over here, Garchomp, Amoonguss, Skeledirge. This one is just Amoonguss with Palafin and Meowscarada. And then let's look at another one if I can find one more. Right here. All right, Garchomp and Meowscarada rather than Amoonguss. So as far as like the Nino tour, they also had Skeledirge in the top cut. If we look at Joe's team over here, we'll just go through like maybe like 2 or 3 of them. So what is this set? Torch Song, Shadow Ball, Slack Off, and Protect with leftovers. Okay, I figured as much. And there's the Terra Grass option. Makes sense. And then down as you go through the list, just to look at a couple more. As far as Skeledirge, Mr. Rishi's team, what do you have? Also leftovers, Terra Water instead of Grass, but Torch Song, Shadow Ball, Slack Off, Protect. Right? Very standard 4 moveset. And then if I go down even further, maybe just one more will do. Where's another Skeledirge? Okay, right here. JB, what do you have? So Terra Water, okay. Safety Goggles instead of leftovers. Shadow Ball, Torch Song, Will-O-Wisp, and Terra Blast. Ooh, that's very interesting. So Terra type Water, Terra Blast. That's okay. All right, I like that option. But again, it has some tournament play. It has some usage. I just hope it would be used more, right? So that's my 6. So let's do some final thoughts here and then get you guys out of here. All right, so there it is. You see the 6 on my screen. You have the Corviknight, which I think should be used a lot more going forward. It's just a bulky mon that can give you Tailwind support. Volcarona, again, with the redirection, the fire presence for Goldengo, and the supporting moves with like Will-O-Wisp and Struggle Bug and, you know, String Shot stuff. Gengar, really, really good on the Tailwind Mirror teams with Icy Wind. And then you have the 2 stab moves, and then you have the options for like Hypnosis, Will-O-Wisp, you know, that kind of play. Mudsdale, really bulky with the Assault Vest, the 4 coverage moves, you know, does a lot in Trick Room, does a lot against a lot of things in the meta. Azumarill, another good fairy option besides Sylveon, that can do a lot of damage with Belly Drum, Aqua Jet stuff, and then Play Rough, you know, just for big damage, along with like your Terra typing, you know, you just add more damage on top of it. It's just a cool option. Skeledirge, this is one of your checks to Dondozo if you need one. Also really good in supporting, you know, with like Will-O-Wisp, Yawn, Snarl stuff. But again, the standard move set over here with Skeledirge is just with Shadow Ball, Torch Song, Slack Off, and then Protect, and then also with the leftovers. So this way you have like endgame recovery, and you have endgame options where you can just like outlast your opponent in one-on-one scenarios. And it just does really well. So what do you think of our 6? Let me know if there's anyone that you think that should be on this list of underrated mons that should be used right now. We'll be back with another video in the next one, guys. Peace out and have a good night.